Yo, this is Chris Spencer, and you're on BKS1 Radio.
It's your girl Chanel, BKS1 Radio, and I'm here with the beautiful Garcelle Bouvet.
I'm paying you later.
Hey, I'm the queen of comedy, some more, and right now you're rocking with BKS1 Radio.
BKS1 Radio Network. I'm here with the amazing Miss Tasha Smith. How you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for coming out.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
Hello, Denise Boutte. Hey, what's up? Shout out to BKS1 Radio. See you soon.
Brick City's finest, J.D. Williams. I'm in the Savage Podcast Studio, chilling at BKS1 Radio.
BKS1 Radio. I'm here with the legendary Mr. Dick Gregory. How you doing today, sir?
Fantastic, brother, and thank you.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Jamie Foxx, BKS1 Radio. What's going on with you?
Storming over. This is George Dr. Funkenstein Clinton for BKS1 Radio. They be doing the dog, y'all.
Yo, this is Chris Spencer, and you're on BKS1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WBKS1.com on the internet, BKS1 Radio TV on YouTube, welcome on Facebook Live, welcome to BKS1 Radio on the TuneIn app. You are now in the game. To my right, she is
Coach V.
To my left, he is
Short Fuse, aka the Ghost.
And I am O-Dog in the house, here to talk and debate sports with you. Let's get started. We got a lot to talk about. Welcome back, Coach V. How was your time off?
It was great. How was yours?
It was good. I needed some rest. I was a little sick, under the weather. I think I had a sinus infection. It was killing me, man. Ghost, how was your time off?
It was good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was down. I was down for the count.
Always got to listen to your body because you can try to fight through things if you want, but it's going to shut down when it wants to.
Absolutely. And without your health, you can't do anything. And I got too many other things going on to be, under the weather. All right, callers, you know the drill. You can call in the show. The calling number is 646-233-1302. And for the slow people, 646-233-1302. All right, you can see it right there on the bottom on the banner. You can join in the live chat room. Just search BKS1 Radio TV on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook Live. Like I said, you can tweet the show at InTheGameBKS1. You can tweet me at ODogBKS1. You can tweet Ghost at GhostBKS1.
Yes.
And Coach V at Veronica L. Harris, right, Coach V?
Yes.
All right. Now, today, in celebrity birthdays, today for March 19th, and I got to go back. I'm gonna do 2 weeks real quick because there are a couple of interesting birthdays. All-star Major League pitcher who won the 2011, 2013, and 2014 National League Cy Young Award and the 2014 NL MVP with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He helped the Dodgers to the World Series in 2017. Clayton Kershaw is just turned 30. And a movie star who won the Blockbuster Entertainment Award and People's Choice Award for his role in the 1999 suspense film The Sixth Sense. His other well-known films include the Die Hard series, Pulp Fiction, and Sin City. Bruce Willis is 63 today.
Oh, wow.
Do you know they're doing another Die Hard?
I heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Is he starring in it?
Yep. And he's going to jump between his older self, and his younger self.
Sometimes it's just better to leave well enough alone. But, people...
It's almost like the Rocky ones. All right, once you get too old to be that character, then just let it go.
Well, what they do with Creed, they brought Creed back and just brought Apollo's son back and did the same daggone movie.
Yeah,
nothing changed, but people like it. It was a success.
Yeah.
Last week it was an interesting birthday. I know we missed, but he was an all-star slugger who won a World Series championship with the New York Mets in '86. Then 3 more with the Yankees in '96, '98, and '99.
Strawberry.
He led the National League in home runs in '88 with 39 for the Mets. His brother and him were both drafted in the same year. He was named the 1983 NL Rookie of the Year after hitting 26 home runs, 74 RBIs. Darryl Strawberry, you're right, turned 56 last week.
Wow.
And let's see. Dale Murphy turned 62 last week. I don't know if you remember Dale. You remember Dale Murphy, right?
Yeah, and the Braves.
Dale Murphy of the Braves. There were a couple of interesting ones. Let me get this one. I like this one. Last week, he played the role of Ron Carver on the television series Law & Order Criminal Intent and guest starred on TNT's The Closer.
Bueno.
In 2016, he won an Emmy for his portrayal of Cochran on the FX limited series The People vs. O.J. American Crime Story. He graduated from Harvard and worked as an actor at the Boston Shakespeare Company. He earned 2 Tony Award nominations for his role in Fences and 6 Degrees of Separation. He's married to Angela Bassett. They have twins named Bronlyn and Slater. Coach V?
Courtney B. Vance.
Courtney B. Vance turned 58. What an accomplished actor. I never knew he was.
Yeah, I
went to
never
Harvard.
knew who. I don't even know who he is, but
You don't know who he is?
No.
You don't know him? What?
I'm trying to think of.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
I don't really watch that much.
He was. He played Criminal Intent. He was the prosecutor on Criminal Intent.
Yes, he was the prosecutor.
Oh,
It's
with
well
the glasses.
established black actor.
He had
yeah.
glasses.
Yes.
Okay.
See, now you
Yeah, I don't
know.
watch that. I don't watch that one that often. Law and Order. The one Law and Order I watched had was that Law and Order?
There's a bunch of
Ice T.
That's
SVU.
SVU.
I watched
She
SVU
said SUV.
because the criminal intent was the one guy with the curly hair, right? He was a weird actor. He was a cop.
You mean the white guy?
Yeah,
The tall, I know the tall guy.
yeah, and he
always
had
asking
weird
questions.
mannerisms.
Yes.
That was
Yeah, I
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yes,
watch it.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
I don't like
Vincent
his. I didn't
D'Onofrio.
like his mannerisms, so I couldn't watch.
He
it
was a
on there.
weird character on that show.
His mannerisms like a serial killer.
Yes, yes, I remember that because he would go up to people and say, "So you did this." He just had a weird way about it. I know exactly what you're talking
That's
about.
why I didn't really get into that version of the criminal intent.
And our final birthday from last week, known as the underboss of the Gambino crime family, he helped bring down John Gotti, the boss of the family.
We don't celebrate them, man.
By becoming, I'm not celebrating. I'm just saying this is a.
We don't even shout out them. Then
It's not a
get
shout out.
They get no airplay.
He became a witness for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Man, we don't support snitches. No.
Sammy the Bull Gavano
he's
turned
trash.
73.
He's trash. You don't go do a crime and know
Glad
you
said it before
involved
me.
with it.
I was about to say it though.
He knew what he was doing, and then you turned to get like a better sentence. You cornball.
I have no
You shouldn't have done it in the first place.
problem
then.
with what you're saying. I just said the man turned 73. All right, goes
Shouldn't
now.
have made it 73
In 19, that's what I'm. See, that's the question to me. How did he make it to 73?
because you can't go after him. They know exactly if you go after them. They know
Isn't
exactly
there
who
a
you're going to.
rule in that thing?
Yeah, but if you go get them, they know exactly who they're coming to.
I'm just saying.
They're not going. The amount of heat that would have came down wouldn't have been worth it.
That's why I put it down there because I was actually stunned that he made it to 73.
Yeah, he had too much of a light on him.
All right, in 1972, this day in sports, the LA Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors 162 to 99 goes by a then record 63 points. Wow. Think about that.
What year?
How things have changed.
What year was that?
1972.
Who was on that team? Wilt?
I would imagine so. I think so. and I would imagine Rick Barry probably played for the Warriors. I couldn't tell you anybody. Maybe Al Addles, who played for the Warriors.
They quit.
Yeah, that was 99, but they got beat by 63. But, I mean, you're talking about Wilt Chamberlain, one of the greatest of all time.
But still, you're a professional. You got to foul him or something.
Foul Wilt Chamberlain?
Once you start losing by a certain amount, you better take it to the streets.
Can't win the game, win the fight, right?
Man, look.
Old school.
You ain't going to embarrass me out here. At least I'm going to win something.
In 1991,
They were too comfortable with them jump shots.
NFL owners stripped the city of Phoenix of the 1993 Super Bowl game
because
due to
Martin Luther
the
King birthday.
Arizona not recognizing Martin Luther King Day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I forget who it was. I think it was Chris Rock. He said,
remember they were talking about, I think they were going to take it out of North Carolina too as well. They would take something out of North Carolina. Was it the All-Star game?
NBA All-Star game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, recently. But Chris Rock told a joke. He said, how racist do you have to be to not want a day off? He said, think about how racist you have to be to not want a day off.
I work.
Yeah, no, I'd rather go to work. That's some serious deep-seated racism. And in 1995, Michael Jordan rejoined the Chicago Bulls after his 17-month baseball hiatus and beat the Pacers.
Alleged retirement.
What do you think about that, Ghost?
What do I think?
Yeah.
This is my opinion only.
Absolutely.
I think they probably were going to suspend Mike for something. And because we don't want to suspend the face of the NBA, we don't want to make it look bad. I think it was an agreement that you step away, you're going to mutually part. You stay away for a year or two, and then you come back.
That would be a serious suspension when you think about that. To take Michael Jordan, who was the face of the NBA, and to come to an agreement to say, look, we're not going to suspend you, but we highly suggest you take a hiatus and go do something else for a minute. Think about that. What could have what
Gambling?
Really? You think it was
they had a
gambling?
big gambling issue back then, allegedly.
I mean, because I'm thinking about that.
Remember the rumors about his father getting killed. There
Yes.
was remember going around saying, "Oh, it was over a gambling debt.
Yep.
It was issues because of that."
Yep.
So I'm just thinking maybe because I just find it weird that at that age you just say, "All right, I'm gonna go play professional baseball," and you haven't played professional baseball in forever. And then you play for a couple years, and then you just come back, but don't go back to the Bulls. You go back to Washington at the time, right?
No,
he went back to the Bulls.
Yeah, came back to the Bulls.
Then he won 3 more championships. Then he went to Washington.
Yeah.
I just think it was a weird time to do all that.
And lastly, I'm going to go back to
now, I have no facts. That's just my
Yeah, I mean, there was something
thoughts.
weird about that whole thing.
Because would you want to suspend the face of the NBA?
No. But would you want him to? Well, you certainly wouldn't want him to be suspended for gambling, because that would cast a light on the whole NBA and make it and somewhat delegitimize it, if you will.
The years later, you had the basketball ref,
Tim Donaghy, right? So it could have gotten really ugly, and maybe that was the way they said, "Look, take an 18-month hiatus and just walk
it'll
away."
Hurt both, it'll tarnish both of us.
Absolutely,
this is my thoughts. If it came out and that was true, it would make us both look bad.
And this was well before all the social media, so nobody had an interest in really taking Michael Jordan down.
No,
he was a franchise.
Jordan
Whether it was
was the
Gatorade, Ballpark Franks, Nike, and the NBA, nobody really had an interest in damaging the Michael Jordan brand.
Oh, yeah, no, he hurt a lot of people.
Which still, to this day, is a multi-million-dollar brand, even as it I look and see college. I just saw Michigan, and they have the Jumpman logo.
They
which
do
is
everything.
Yeah. So it's crazy how
the number one selling basketball shoe and ain't played basketball in probably over a decade.
That's fascinating to me, because when I drive around, and I drive a lot, and I drive through cities in Jersey City, Hoboken, Newark, whatever. I see these young kids, Ghost,
wearing Jordans.
That I know
never seen Jordan
for
play.
fact never saw Jordan play. I'm not even sure they know who he is.
No, they probably know who he is, but they ain't never seen him play.
Wait. You think, Coach Reed, do you think they know who he is the way we know who he is, or they just know?
They know
Michael
name.
Jordan, right? They just know the name.
They don't know him like we know him.
They don't know the player. They don't know
they
his
probably
legacy.
never seen
the
a player
game.
unless
Right.
they went and YouTubed it. But if they play basketball and they got on Jordans, yeah. And somebody
By the way,
know because probably whoever went and bought the Jordans, they probably told them this is Michael Jordan. They probably looked it up.
By the way, I just recently learned, because I'm not cool, so and I've gotten older and I've aged out of a lot of things. The younger generation, they call them Jays.
Well, yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
They
So
call them
that's news to me. I said, "Whoa,
Wow,
the
you
Jays."
you really aged yourself.
No,
up.
I told you I'm old. What do you want
They
from me?
Jays forever, man. What are you talking about?
I never called Jordan. I call Jordans Jordans.
Don't worry.
Why is it so hard to say Jordans?
Don't worry. I still do it too. So you ain't the only one.
Why everybody got short and everything? Hold on. You know what I can't stand?
It's easier.
No. You know what I can't stand? We got a special guest coming in the studio, and we're going to introduce him in a second. But you know what I can't stand?
No, what?
I can't stand when I text a grown man and I get the letter K back. Like K. Like, what kind of is it that damn hard to type okay?
For some people.
I mean, be a man to type okay. I ain't typing K to no grown man. I'm sorry. Call me sexist. I ain't typing it to no woman. It's to me, I don't mean to be sexist, but it sounds a little bit feminine to me when you say okay.
No, it's just straight rude.
And I don't even care about the rudeness. It's just like, you can't type O and K? Like, is that too hard? That extra? So that's what I mean. Is the word Jordan that difficult to say? So, I got to give me a couple of J's. Y'all go give me a pair of J's. You can't say Jordans?
Because most people call him MJ.
I take it as a personal affront.
Anyway, that's just my thing, whatever. All right, welcome. Let's give a shout out and a welcome to our special guest. You know him. He's a friend of the show, friend of the family. The great Nap is here. Nap, how you doing, brother?
I'm blessed. I walked in at the right time. I love it.
Get me fired up over here. Now, we're talking about the Michael Jordan effect and how his brand and his legacy has carried on throughout, and how you have these young kids that never saw him play and still rocking that gear hard, still paying tons of money. I see little kids. I looked at a pair of Jordans for my son. They were like $65. I said, I'd be damned if I pay $65 for some shoes. He going to grow out in about a month. You must be crazy.
I've never
I'm not doing it.
I've never owned a pair.
Never?
No.
Ever?
Really?
Forever?
Because, I wasn't really a fan of a lot of them. The ones I were a fan of, I like the North Carolina color ones he had.
Yes.
But then I was going to get them, and I was like, nah, I'll wait. But then they were left, because, they go away after a while, you go some new ones. And I was like, they look all right, but I never really was
Compelled.
I'm going to go get them. Because I
Right.
really didn't wear basketball shoes. Most of my shoes are low top.
Nap, do you ever own a pair of Jordans?
No.
No?
No. But I respect the man. I like him.
Right.
I like the brand.
Right.
But no.
I think I had one pair that I took from my brother because my brother used to work at a sneaker store, Athlete's Foot in Jersey City, and he had a discount. So he used to get every pair of Jordans and all types of sneakers. And I jammed my size 9 into his size 8 Jordans. But I never paid for a pair. All right, let's get moving. Let's get started on what's going on in sports.
You ain't asked me if I've had a
That's
pair.
what I was just about to say that. Coach V, have you ever owned a pair of Jordans?
I have like tons, and my brother.
Are you serious?
Yeah, my brother had every pair that came out.
You know, it's funny because I got into a debate with a guy at work once, and I had noticed that he kept coming in the office, and we were talking about the Jordan versus LeBron debate, and we're sitting there, and he's like, Michael's better. He's getting heated. I said, let me ask you one question. How many pairs of Jordans do you own? Dude lost it. He's like, what's that got to do with anything? I said, no. I just want to put this in context. How many pairs of Jordan sneakers do you own? Because I had seen him come in with at least 12 different styles. So I'm like, you can't even be objective. You own every pair of Jordans that's been out. So how you going to be objective? He got hot, Ghost. And then, you know who told me to calm down? Our special guest coming up in the next hour, Jay Murphy. He's like, he's like, you need to calm down, yo. He's like, you hit him where it hurts.
I don't know. It's really a debate. Is it really a debate on who's the better player?
I mean, we could debate it, but that's the old debate. Let's get started with what's going on currently. Baseball. We're gonna start with a little bit of baseball. Mike Trout.
Yes.
$430 million. Largest contract in sports history. 12 years. I'll start with you, Nap. What are your thoughts on that contract?
Unbelievable. Listen, when you pay somebody that kind of money, you mortgaged the house, the farm, all the cows, all the animals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to see what happens because the body gets old, as we know in sports, right?
Yeah.
And you give this man that kind of money, which means you're expecting how many World Series rings out of this deal?
They better get a couple.
Okay. And if that doesn't happen, do you then say he's a bust or the organization was a bust for giving that kind of money?
See, I
think that they depending on the organization, I think like certain organizations can hold that contract and still go out and put a team around them.
Sure.
Like the Yankees, Boston, the Dodgers, the Cubs. I don't know what the earning potential is of how flush they are and
They just got a $3 billion TV
Angels?
contract.
Yep.
So will that hamstring them later on to put better players around them, which is what can hold them back? Because Mike Trout's going to put up his numbers. But if that money hampers them, say putting the quality team around them, then they might not ever make this World Series. Then I could never say I wouldn't look at Mike Trout as being a bust because he's going to put up these numbers. Now if his numbers start to tail off and drop, then it's like, oh wow.
Right.
But if he stays on the same trajectory,
then it's something.
He's worth every dime.
You know what's funny? As a former agent, I'm gonna tell you something. When you speak to these organizations, they already know what it is that they're going to spend.
Okay.
They have a clear understanding of who we want, and sometimes you get to the point where the Raiders used to be that way. They were very in tune with, I want this particular player, and I don't care how much it costs. And the site was, just because I want him on my roster, let's say Bo Jackson was one of them.
Okay.
Like that type of player.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how much it costs. So I think he is that type of player where it just didn't matter.
Well, to your point, it's interesting that you say that because coming in, I just heard them say that the Angels basically went to Mike Trout and offered him this extension. He was under contract until the end of 2020.
Yeah.
So they had him for another 2 years. But they went to him in advance and said, look, here's what we'd like to give you. And Mike Trout just basically said, okay.
Because he already signed a 6-year, $140-some million contract. So
right.
The extension is like $360-some million when you add on the other 2 years. Well, they already had control of them, and it comes up to the $400-some million. Of course, if somebody come offer you that much money, then be a fool to turn it
But
down.
he could have also said, you know what, I'm crushing it. I'm 26 years old. I'm coming into my physical prime at 28. I think I'll wait for free agency and see what the Dodgers might offer, see what the Yankees might offer, see what the Cubs or the Red Sox may offer.
The crazy thing about it is that he's 28 years old, right? 27, 28. He's around the same age as
well, he's 26 right now. He'll be 27 going on.
Because he's older than Machado and Harper.
Okay.
With how long it took for them to get signed.
Yeah, but he's
would
also.
Would you take that chance? All right, I'm gonna be 28. So now I'm not giving you 12-year deal at 28.
He's a better player than them.
Yeah, he is, but that's at this moment. Who knows what's going to happen between now and 2 years from now?
True.
But if the market changes or he doesn't have as greater years as he's possibly had, and then you add on to the fact that, all right, he's 28, and teams will be like, oh, wow, well, we didn't want to give – look at the deals we gave Pujols at that age. Look at the deal they gave A-Rod at that age. Look at the deal that happened when we gave Cano at that money at that age. It doesn't work out towards the last end, so he might have had to take a 5-year deal at that point.
But he's got now, to his credit, I mean, he is – I saw some stats on him. They said he's got more home runs at this age than Barry Bonds by 98. He's got more hits at this age than Pete Rose by like 100.
Yeah. If he comes on this trajectory, he's going to be the greatest player of all time.
I mean, he could potentially be the greatest player of all time, which is absolutely insane.
Do you bank on it, or do you take $430 million right now and saying I might go down in 2 years?
I mean, there's always that consideration.
Right. Listen, you got that kind of money to pay. Imagine what the owners are. Just imagine what he has.
Well, like Coach V said, the Angels just signed a $3 billion local television contract. So they're flush with money. Right. They're okay. They said, look, we're going to keep our guy. Now, let's go back to what you said. How many world championships are you going to get for that money? You haven't gotten a playoff win yet.
Right.
You made playoffs.
No, they did once, and they got one playoff win out of it.
So are you getting value? Because price is what you pay, value is what you get. That's what I always tell people.
Very true.
Yeah.
Is this a...
They got value already. You know why?
Why?
Mike Trout got them that $3 billion TV deal.
See?
You take Mike Trout and that Shohei Ohtani, the guy they signed last year.
Shohei Ohtani, yeah.
You take them off their team, they're not getting a $3 billion TV deal.
Okay.
Because nobody's watching the Angels without those two.
That's fair.
In my opinion. Because it's not like their market is that. Because if you say, all right, I'm going to watch the Dodgers or I'm going to watch the Angels, but you take Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani off the team, who are you going to pick?
Well, you pick the Dodgers. Now, I was fortunate enough to go out there last year, and I will tell you, I went to, 2 years ago, I went to Anaheim Stadium to see the Angels play, and Mike Trout is it. He's the star.
Why Mike Trout's an Eagles fan, so I hate him. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he's from South Jersey, so we don't really claim, that's South Jersey.
They're a bunch of weirdos down there.
Exactly.
Stay out there in California. I'm glad you didn't come out the East Coast.
So am I. There was talk that the Phillies were going to try to wait it out for 2 years, but I guess that's off the table.
Yeah.
Because they were going to try to put Bryce Harper, and now Bryce Harper
but these
also
teams
got
are smart.
Say it again?
Colorado did the same thing with that Arnaud guy, the third baseman.
Yeah.
They had him under control for the next year. He wouldn't have been a free agent, but then you lock him up so another team, because they were saying, oh, he may come out to the Yankees or some other team because he's that good. If you have good players, man, pay him and keep him there.
Is he the new face of baseball, or will he ever be the face of baseball?
Trout?
Yeah. Because he plays in such a small market.
He's not.
So why would you play that guy?
He's the face of the franchise.
Okay.
Face of baseball.
Who is the face of baseball?
Well, see, baseball is such a regional sport, so no one's ever going to be the face of MLB because it's too regional. The game is too regional. The only way that would work is, they would really have to change their whole marketing strategy and take it from being like a provincial, regional type thing to make it a more national thing.
That's a fair point.
There have been the faces of baseball at times because you had Barry Bonds when he was face of baseball. You had Mark McGwire when he was bashing the ball.
Sammy Sosa.
Reggie Jackson was the face of baseball.
But when you
say Pete Rose at times, it's different times where players have been the face of baseball. And if right now, if I had to say,
yeah,
and not because I'm a Yankee fan, but just because you can see how everything he brings, and how the media loves him, and how Aaron Judge can be to me is the face of baseball.
That's still, but think about it, at the time when baseball they had a face of it. Baseball wasn't in the ranking order or the pecking order the way it is now. Like the NFL wasn't the NFL back then when Reggie Jackson was.
Well, NFL's always been NFL.
It's been, but it hasn't been as popular. It wasn't king the way it is. Like in October when Reggie Jackson was playing, everybody tuned in because he was Mr. October. He had a candy bar.
But that was just the World Series.
But I'm just saying
people
that
tune in to football like every week.
But it was easier for him to be the face of baseball because it was more like the whole country could get around like the candy bar and
That's
Mr.
a good
October.
Point. That's a good point. Baseball was more of the national pastime, if you will.
It's changed.
Where it's changed to I couldn't tell you who the best player on the Cardinals is right now. I don't know that. But back in the day, I could have told you who the best player on the Dodgers
talking about the best player. We're talking about the best player on a team. We're talking about superstars who can be the face of the league. That's a whole different ballgame.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
there's a best player on the Mets. He can never be the face of baseball because he's not on that superstar level.
Well, what I'm saying to you is, given my own experience, I'll tell you, and I'm still a baseball fan, but I was a huge baseball fan as a kid, and I knew players from every team. I could tell you who the stars were when I was a kid on every team. And now at this point, and maybe it's just because like most things, I've gotten a little bit older. I have less time to devote to those things that I don't know as much as I did.
Watch
How many games
now,
do I watch?
compared to then?
Not even half as many.
Then you're not gonna know.
Not, but what I'm saying to you is, I guess I would say, for me, the stars on certain teams stood out. Like I could tell you certain, and I sort of know who the big stars in the American League are. But if you ask me National League, I'm like, I don't know.
And then you know what else? The demographic in baseball has changed. Let's face it, years ago, not even more than 20, 25, almost 30 years ago, there were more white players. And now you have more Latino players of not necessarily African American, but definitely Latino players. And not everybody knows them, and not everybody
identifies
with them.
That's a great point too, because I think I don't know that it had an effect on my baseball viewership, but I can't say that it didn't. When I was a kid, there were far more African American players that I identified with, and plus I was playing it, so I gravitated to it more. Now, you give me your experience as a baseball fan.
That's a good point. I mean, I really didn't grow up in baseball. Was the first sport I played.
Right,
believe it or
right.
not.
I think it's the first sport most young people play. Because it's you get in the little league.
Right.
Most cities, not just inner cities, most cities. Ghost, you played little league baseball, right? I played little league. You played little league. I think most people that are athletes.
I wound up co-representing Timo Perez, right? And when he was with the Mets, obviously I had to get involved a little bit more in baseball at that point. And it was interesting. It's like what Coach said. It was broken down for me where and Timo wound up being a pretty good baseball player. Wound up winning the World Series with the White Sox and all that. I didn't really understand the demographics of the marketing of what MLB was trying to do. But if you was a major star on a major team in a major market, they would push. That was a narrative that they pushed. It wasn't necessarily a team thing. It was a player thing.
Right.
Because they will sell products for that particular player. They would get them endorsement deals and all that. What's changed from after Timo retired, social media.
Right.
Now, because of social media, anybody and everybody's a star. You know what I mean? If your Instagram is popping, you're a star.
Right.
No,
you're right.
It's a little bit different where statistics is really not driving the market anymore. It's social media.
And you can create your own stardom. See Mike Trout, because they say Mike Trout has zero interest in branding. He has zero interest in Instagram or Facebook or, whatever the latest social media is. Somebody in chat, Jules C. brought up Ken Griffey Jr. He was a big star back in the day. He was sort of the face of baseball, if you will, at one point.
But then, he had a personality that even though he played for that one team, it did the whole thing that his father was there. So that's something that people could relate to and get behind. And he was the kid. He was the kid, hat to the bag. Everybody could
the kid,
I really enjoyed watching him play. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. That was one of my favorite players. I mean, but like Ghost said, I don't watch as much baseball as I used to, so it's hard for me to get behind that. But let's move on. Ghost, what are your thoughts on the Bryce Harper contract with him going to Philly? $300 million. Was it 12 years?
$330 million.
$330 million.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a good deal for him.
You think so? Nap?
I would agree with that. Definitely.
He's going to put people in the seats in Philly.
No doubt.
Are they going to win?
No doubt.
Yeah, they came in second place last year. They were right behind the Braves. I think they're now favored with the moves they made. They're favored to win the NFC, the NL East easily.
That bothers me because I hate all things Philadelphia. I hate the Eagles. I hate the Phillies.
I have no
Sixers.
feeling towards the Philadelphia. I don't have no feeling towards the Sixers. I have no feelings towards the Phillies or the Sixers. I love the Sixers.
I don't even like the city of Philadelphia.
I don't like. I mean, that's a whole other story. I like the Sixers, and I don't mind about the Phillies. I don't like the Eagles.
I can't stand the Eagles, obviously.
I like the Flyers because they fought a lot, but that's about it.
You would like the Flyers because
Broad Street Bullies.
All right, now let's get to a little bit of let me see where I want to go. You know what? Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little football. We got a lot of basketball to go to, and then we'll get into a little NCAA. We'll be right back after 2 minutes. We'll take a break, reset, keep it locked. WBKS1 in the game. right, welcome back, folks. WBKS1.com in the game. Keep it locked. You see, I got on my green ghost. This is my once a year St. Patrick's Day Yankees green jacket that I wear. I've only worn it for about I've had this thing about 10 years. I wear it. So I wore it like 10 times.
It's cute.
But I got this new hat too. I like this. I might wear this a little bit more. This is my new green, my little Irish hat. I got a green Yankees hat too that I only bust out once a year. So happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it's past, but you know, happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish listeners, and everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. All right, during the break, we were talking a little bit about, well, in the last segment, we talked about all the money in baseball. And there's something that has always, well, there's a player who was drafted in baseball but chose football. And we all know Kyler Murray. He was drafted by the Oakland Athletics. But he has chosen to play NFL football. Now, you're a former agent. If you were representing Kyler Murray, given the money in the discussion about the contracts that we just had, 10 years, $300 million from Machado. Mike Trout, $430 million. Bryce Harper, $330 million. Nelson Arredo, $160 million, 8 years. We're talking about $1.3 billion in 4 contracts alone. No salary cap. But he chose to play a more dangerous sport where there's a salary cap.
Right.
I say all that to say, what would you advise Kyler Murray were he your client?
You got to go where your heart is, honestly. And
no, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm saying
hold on, I got to stop you. I got to stop you right there.
You got to go where your heart is.
All right, hold on. That sounds all well and good.
Yeah.
But see,
you got to follow your heart.
But we can't put him in that category of Mike Trout and Arno and Harper because he hasn't played one game in the major league.
And I'm going to say
his second contract.
And you want to laugh at this. And that's the reason why I'm saying, apparently, he has a really good understanding of what his potential is going to be in both sports.
Mm-hmm. See, that was my thing right there.
Right.
See, because when he made the choice of football, I said to myself, wait a minute. He must not think that he thinks he's better at football than he's at baseball. Because if you thought you were better at baseball, why wouldn't you take the less physical sport where you could make more money unless you think you're a better football player than baseball
But think about this, because all right, he got drafted number 9. Then you're gonna get sent to rookie ball.
Okay.
And then then baseball controls you for actually more years than NFL, because then you got arbitration years, which is like they can control you for like 7 years, which they can string you along all this time.
Okay.
So you may be good, but never get that contract like a Harper or like Arno. You may not get that contract.
That's what they're doing.
NFL controls him for what? 5 for your first rookie deal,
right?
And then they can franchise you once. Most likely, they ain't gonna franchise you twice. They control you 6. And if he does well as a quarterback, your next deal could be in line with what your Major League Baseball deal is. And if your heart is more into football,
I looked at when he decided to play. At first, people were saying, "Well, he's just doing that to leverage his opportunity in baseball, get more money, right?"
Which the A's said they were willing to negotiate with him.
Of course,
right?
When he won
so
the
to me, that
Heisman,
tells me that he had enough talent where he could sort of use that leverage and say, "Look," and they were saying, "Look, all right, we need to give you more money. All right, let's talk about that."
Right. Now this is two things. And that's before he won the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. The minute he won the Heisman, I knew this young man's going to go play football.
Okay.
The minute he won the Heisman.
What made you say that?
It put him in not that the question was, okay, he's easily top 3 to top 4 best college football players in this draft, in my opinion.
Okay.
Once he won the Heisman, it automatically put him at the top of his position. Period.
Okay.
There's no conversation. Period. Then you watch the kid throw, and you understand it's not the fact that this kid is an athlete playing quarterback. No, he's a quarterback that happens to be a great athlete. There's a difference. With great arm, not average arm talent, great arm talent. So for me, if I was his agent, I would sit down and say, listen, okay, let's look at the long term. Let's look at the 10-year plan.
Okay.
In 10 years, how much money would you think, let's say you could potentially make playing baseball versus how much money
you can project that out with some.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, you know.
You can.
Absolutely.
Being reasonable.
Yeah. Because you're looking at endorsement deals.
Right.
All of everything. All that. He's going to get better endorsement deals than playing football.
You better believe it. Oh, you better believe it.
Now, let's talk about him because I remember the Combine, and like I always call it the Underwear Olympics, which to me, I mean, I'm going to ask you your feeling, Nab. How do you feel about the Combine? What are your thoughts?
It's
you seem to feel like I feel, and I'll tell you how. I think it's a joke.
It's a necessary evil for what you have to go through to parade around and show these owners what they're getting.
But is it really?
It is really. I would get away from the Combine,
right,
and let's just focus on college pro days.
Yes,
right.
Okay,
because technically, that's really the Combine is a preview. It's for everybody. It's all the pageantry and the TV and all that kind of stuff. But it's really nothing to. It's not about the game anymore.
Right.
It got so commercialized.
Yes,
it's really not about the game anymore.
See, I think the pro day just help fringe players.
And that's
if I'm a star player, I'm not performing at the Combine.
See,
I don't need to. If you're a fringe player where you can boost your stock from say maybe second round and probably push you into the first round, it's going to help you.
Round to
it's
a second
going to help
round.
you. It'll help you more.
The Combine has done that.
Yeah, so it helps those players. But like Kyler Murray, the top Haskins. It's not doing anything to help you. You're already going where you're going. To me, I would be like, no, I'm not going. I'm not performing there.
Well, you saw what he did.
Yeah, he said, I come for
just
interviews.
went there, got measured, and it was like, oh my God, Kyler Murray's 5'10". Woohoo!
Now
he's
I'll tell you one thing which is interesting. The Combine, which does help a lot of players from a football IQ standpoint, when you're doing all the testing and all that kind of stuff, and you're sitting down literally with every team.
I would do that. Yeah,
that helps.
Right, and I don't have a problem with that. But you know what I have a problem with? You're going to tell me that you're going to sit there and evaluate a player based on a shuttle run, based on a 40-yard dash, based on, they talk about, he can open up his hips and he can turn and you see how get out of here. Watch the tape. If you can watch a tape and you see if this, because when you're in the Combine, you're doing this in a controlled environment, which football is not. It's organized chaos. You got to be able to make plays. You got to be able to get out there and perform on the field. When they watch Kyler Murray throw, look, he can throw a 40-yard out, a deep out, but show it to me on tape when there's the defender, because that's what I want to see.
No doubt.
You know, it's great that he can do it on a pro day, and I understand that, because you want to see certain mechanics and certain strengths, basic. But you've seen that. The guy had, 50 touchdowns? Yeah. He won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, what else do you need to know about
How many
him?
players go to Combines, and they train for the Combine, obviously?
Absolutely.
You go and you blow the Combine out the water.
Yes.
You get drafted.
Yes.
You go into camp, and it's, where's this guy?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a different guy than what we've seen at the Combine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How many times has that happened?
A lot. I would imagine a lot more than we know about, because guys.
See, I'm happy for them. Because if a team is dumb enough just to go off of that, what they see at the Combine, and not watch the game tape, if it don't match up, then hey, get your money.
For me,
because you done sucked them out of your money. Get it?
I agree, but what bothers me, to your point, I think the Combine, if you are a top tier player, a top 20 pick, I'm not even going to the Combine.
Right, you don't need the Combine.
I'll go for the interviews.
Right.
Just because they want to talk to you. Right. I'll go there, but I'm not performing I'm not running no 40. I don't need to.
And just come see me at my pro day.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the event you have coming up in the near future. Tell us about the event.
So excited about it. It's called Inside the Jersey. It's a Eugene Napoleon documentary, and it's produced by W Nation.
Okay.
Scholar Callahan and his crew down there in Morgantown, West Virginia. Shout out to all my Mountie fans.
Now, give the people some of your history and remind people of your history and your connection with West Virginia University.
Definitely. Attended West Virginia University in the mid-'80s. I actually started my career at Pittsburgh. From Jersey, New Jersey originally. Went to St. Joseph's High School. 7 All-American teams coming out of high school. Number 1 guy in our state. Number 3 in the East Coast. 13th in the whole country.
Nice.
And
what position did you play?
Tailback.
Okay.
Tailback.
Okay.
Big Tony Dorsett fan.
Love Tony.
Big
Cowboy.
TD fan. So when I wound up picking my schools, came down between Oklahoma and Pitt, I wound up going to Pittsburgh my freshman year. My older sister passed, things didn't work out, so I wound up transferring. And I wound up in Morgantown, West Virginia. And that has been probably one of the best decisions of my young life. Because the fan base there, 30 years later, I have a retro jersey in the store.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How's that feel?
It's crazy. I mean, I was telling my wife the other night, it's unreal how you can look at this thing. I'm 53 years old.
Right.
And 30 years later,
Yeah.
you know, being part of an undefeated season and playing with the great Major Harris and the legendary Don Nealon,
Yeah.
which they'll all be at my premiere on Saturday, God willing.
Awesome.
It's unbelievable. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the premiere there first.
Okay.
Because that's my way of saying thank you to the great fans all these years later. 30 years later.
Well, West Virginia University is a unique situation because of where it's located.
Right.
Which means it's just Morgantown.
Right. The
It's
state
West Virginia.
the state doesn't have a pro team.
That's
Right.
it.
Right.
West Virginia football is their
Pro team.
Yes.
pro team.
That's right.
So I
they're
can
the whole
imagine
city.
all of that. What you're saying makes sense. My cousin went to West Virginia, and he years ago he tells me about some of the parties and all the stuff that went on back. It's a wild rocket school, but I can certainly understand why people have still held on to you and understand you and appreciate you, because when you become part of that, you know, Morgantown community, you become part of it. You know,
It's a culture thing. Like my wife wrote 304. She
Okay.
wrote the single for my documentary.
Uh-huh.
They're loving it. That
Nice.
record right now, it's number 6 on the charts.
Really?
Right? Number 2 in a Philadelphia radio station, which
Nice.
is interesting.
Nice.
And I didn't think that it would do that well that quickly, but it just goes to show you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What's the documentary called again?
Inside the Jersey, Eugene Napoleon.
Okay.
Documentary.
And what is it going to be mass distributed, or when after you do the
Yes.
opening in West Virginia?
Matter of fact, it'll be out the second to third week in April on 11 major platforms.
Okay.
My distribution deal is with Primo Media. So you're talking about Xbox, Roku, Xfinity, Comcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Yeah, so
now I'll be able to catch it.
Yes.
That's gonna be awesome, because I'm gonna watch and say I know that dude.
Yes,
I know that man. All right, let's go into a little bit of NFL talk. You know, a lot of changes in NFL. So many things going on. First, we got to start with shocking news. The New York Football Giants trade Odell Beckham Jr. Coach V, I'm going to start with you. Give me your thoughts on that trade. What does it tell the Giant fan? What does it tell you about the football Giants, New York Football Giants?
I can't believe anybody was shocked. That's what I'm trying to figure. Like, y'all were really shocked. Y'all really didn't see that coming in. I was not shocked at all. I think.
Wait a minute. You can't tell me that you thought that they were going to trade.
I was
Odell
one of the
Beckham
people
Jr.
that said they should trade him, but people was looking at me like I had two heads on my shoulders. But I wasn't shocked. I said it from like the beginning when he first started acting up, and so I'm just thinking that it's probably best that a new start for him, probably in a better situation, that is going to make him happy and cause him less frustration. And then I think the Giants, you know, for better or for worse, they have to live. They gotta deal with that. But I think, if anything, the Giants need to do something, or else they're going to lose that team. Because you talk about you want to win. You talk about the Giants are known for a certain level of excellence or whatever. But when, like I said, when you go behind the numbers and you start looking at all the years, you just have those 2 Super Bowls that you kind of backed into the playoffs to get into there, and then it was like on lucky plays. And I'm not even poo-pooing a lucky play, because in life everybody needs a little bit of luck. Everybody needs a little bit of luck. However, how can you say, okay, he was our franchise player, our best player, but yet you going to send him off and still keep this dude over here who couldn't even get him the ball? Like, if I'm a player, I'm definitely looking at you with the side eye. Like, okay, you what? He was clearly our energy, our motor. He made us better, but you going to get rid of him and hold on to that one over there who really should be on his way out the door a long time ago. But he definitely going to be out within the next couple of years or so, within 1 or 2 years. So why are you still holding on to him? You just paid him a $5 million bonus, roster bonus, to Eli Manning, but you got rid of the guy who potentially could have made us so much better.
Now, your thoughts on Odell Beckham being traded by the New York Football Giants?
Coach, I applaud you.
Oh, thank you very much.
What's interesting, that didn't surprise me. I was actually telling my wife, right, because she's a huge Giant fan. Love the Giants. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I was really happy when that happened. But
Smart
anyway,
man. I knew you were a smart man.
whenever the organization, they're looking at you with the side eye because you become too much of a distraction. They're going to let you know you are not more important than this organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two or three things that I think ruffled their feathers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the people who sit in the ivory towers.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, they're already thinking about, okay, we listen, we're going to get the best we can get for this guy, and we're going to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Eli Manning thing, when you've had 3 to 4 offensive coordinators
Mm-hmm.
in a period of 5 years, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to learn an NFL playbook, especially at that position.
Mm-hmm.
I give him a lot of credit, honestly. Is he past his prime? Eli was past his prime probably 3 years ago. I'm not hating. He was, okay, probably 3 years ago. But the loyalty that the Giants are showing him and the respect that they're showing him, I credit the organization for that. Now, as an agent, is that a smart move? No, because it's not going to bring you any rings.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right? What's going to happen, you get rid of, even though he may have been a locker room issue, you get rid of probably one of the top 3 receivers in the league, in my opinion, pure talent-wise.
Healthy? Yeah.
Healthy?
Absolutely.
Easily. You get rid of him, you have the tailback, who I think is going to be a major star. Loved him at college.
Not anymore.
Love him now.
Not anymore.
But you get rid of this guy, your sidekick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You keep your quarterback. Who is going to take some of the slack to help Barkley do what he needs to do? You have a suspect offensive line at best. Where are you going? So that's my question. What's your game plan? If you think you're going to get a receiver in this draft, in this year's draft, anywhere close to what you just let go,
no,
that's not going to happen.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Right.
You better go draft some beef up front.
Sure.
You need to do that, and you better get your successor at quarterback.
I was talking to a Giant fan, and he said OBJ was injured constantly. He was poor in the locker room and is a glorified slot receiver. Hold on. Let me just give you what the Giant fan said. He said a glorified slot receiver whose only decent route was the slants across the middle of the field. That's what these are Giant fans. I'm not making this up. And they know who they are.
A glorified slot receiver.
That's what the Giant fan told me.
Who made your quarterback look great with his acrobatic catches that he had to do because your quarterback can't hit him open. A glorified slot receiver is disrespectful.
That's what I thought.
He's hurt all the time. He broke his ankle from a dirty hit in preseason, and then he broke his leg again at the end of last year. Didn't he do it twice?
He got was it a high ankle sprain or something like that?
No, I thought it was a fracture. Wasn't it?
Maybe it was a fracture.
That was a head-on fracture. It wasn't just a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, maybe it was a
fracture.
fracture.
Then he had something with his quad.
Yeah.
So he's not always injured. This is his first couple of years. He wasn't. He injured his rookie year. He hurt his hamstrings in preseason, but he was healthy since then. Glorified slot receiver is crazy because he's arguably, say, top 3 wide receiver. And if you look at his numbers, he's probably put up better numbers his first 3 years than I think any other receiver in history. And I feel bad for Saquon because now you're going to get the ball. You're going to touch the ball running like 350 times. Then they're going to give you they're going to pass it to you probably like another 90 to 100 times.
I agree.
And you know what they're going to do? And then when your 4 year comes up, they're going to say, you know what? We might franchise you this year, but then we're not going to give you another long term deal because you got 800 touches in the last 3 years.
Yep.
So now you begin to wear down. So we're not going to give you a long term deal. That move right there just hurt his career.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And as a former tailback, I can tell you something. When you don't have outside guys to throw to,
right?
Look at the Cowboys last year.
They stacked the box.
They stacked the box.
They're going to stack the box.
Everybody ain't Barry. Okay, I tell you, everybody ain't Barry Sanders.
And not to mention, like you said,
he got that close to being getting the rushing record. He's, you know what? I'm done.
What did you say? You said Eli's best years were behind him 3 years ago.
At least.
So you got a bad quarterback, a suspect offensive line, no outside help, and the only good thing you got is Saquon Barkley. Like you said, goes to your point. You're going to give him the ball, 300, 400 times a year, whether it's out of the backfield or from the backfield, then what?
Then also here that they're not looking at Haskins at number 6.
No.
They're looking at maybe a pass rusher and then the quarterback out of Duke at 17. But, you can't believe what anybody says in draft time.
Because they all lie.
Yeah, why would a GM tell this is what we're going to do?
Right.
So I personally think they're taking a quarterback. I think they might package these 2 picks and move up and go after Kyler Murray because they say, oh, we don't like Kyler Murray because he's too small. But it could be more smoke screens.
Well, they interviewed him, I think, the other day.
Yeah,
did they?
The
Giants. Yeah. So I think that they what's the name? I think that they're not dumb enough to pass on a quarterback 2 years in a row.
Dave Gettleman said
you can't be. I don't think any organization knows when you're picking this high back to back.
Right.
You have no succession plan for your quarterback. You have to take a quarterback. How many quarterbacks get taken after the first round to actually pan out to being great?
Dave Gettleman said they have a plan. Trust him.
Yeah.
If you're the Giant fan,
that's why I say. That's why I say you got to see.
I have to. What would you
trust?
You got to
trust me.
You got to see what he does. You got to see if he goes out and gets a quarterback at number 6, and then he gets a decent guy at 17, maybe a lineman or whatever.
Right.
You see where it goes. He might have a plan.
If you get a quarterback that high, Eli will know by midseason you're on the bench.
You got to move on, right?
You got to move on. And for them to do that, it's going to have to be the right quarterback.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because
you got to get a stud.
Right.
You can't get somebody
hand the keys over because even if they bring, and I personally think Murray's the best quarterback in this draft. In my opinion,
I agree with that.
Overall, in my opinion, that offense does not fit what he does.
Right.
Right.
It just doesn't.
I mean, Haskins is a better fit from Haskins is a pocket quarterback.
Yes,
but
I
think Murray is. I like Haskins.
I like him.
Haskins, a big
Don't get
guy.
me wrong. I like him too.
He can make all the throws. I think that, to me, what separates Murray from Haskins is his mobility. Haskins can get out and move and extend plays and pick up some yards, but he's nowhere near the athlete that Murray is.
No.
But as far as standing in the pocket and reading and recognizing the defense and making all the throws, Haskins is right there in my opinion.
I like Haskins. I think Murray's better, but to your point, Knapp, I think that Haskins is a better fit in that style of offense. I don't think Murray fits in that offense. Now let's move on. Let's talk about the future of Odell Beckham Jr. We talked about his past. How about Odell Beckham Jr. going to the Browns, which now have Kareem Hunt, Baker Mayfield. They got Jarvis Landry, who played with Odell Beckham Jr. down at LSU.
And Joku. They got Callaway. They got Higgins.
Are they the favorites in the AFC? What is that? Central?
North.
AFC North.
Yep.
Who favorite over them?
You have to think so, right?
The bum Steelers?
No, the Steelers are done.
I mean, the only ones who the Ravens picked up Mark Riggins as a running back, which is not bad, but they lost 4 starters on defense.
Absolutely,
so that could hurt them,
including Terrell Suggs.
Cincinnati has no real
direction.
So
they're still looking for a quarterback.
Talent wise, Cleveland,
yeah, I think Cleveland and never. Could you have been so excited as a Browns fan than you are right now? And it's amazing how 2 years ago, I mean, they were talking
until Ernest Biner fumbled.
I'm talking about in the last 10 years, let's say, because over the last 5 years, where they go 3-27 or something.
Probably the last 20 years, they went 3-27.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is an exciting time to be a Browns fan, and I look for them to win the division. How many games do you think they can win?
Even without Odell. When they picked up Olivier Vernon to put on the other side of Myles Garrett.
Absolutely.
And the defense was young and fast. And they got the cornerback they had at the draft last year. I can't remember his name. I think it's Ward. I can't remember his name. I thought they would have been favorites coming in this year anyway.
Are you concerned about Freddie Kitchens, rookie head coach?
Now, that's the one mistake I think they made. They should have kept Greg Williams as head coach. I would have kept that same staff exactly the way it was because they won 8 games last year when they switched staff. I'd have left Kitchens as offense coordinator, left Greg Williams as the head coach, and then rolled out this year to see what it was going to be like.
Let's talk real quick about some other free agent pickups. Obviously, Antonio Brown to the Raiders. Now, what are your thoughts on Antonio Brown going to the Raiders?
Love it.
I mean, how do you think he handled that contract situation as an agent? I mean, he parlayed something. He went from nothing to something, and he did it in the most the craziest way.
He didn't go from nothing.
Well, he didn't have that guaranteed money.
Right.
He was paid. He went from
zero guaranteed money,
getting paid well.
Right.
He still were going to keep him around because they weren't going anywhere.
But he didn't have the guaranteed money.
He went to that and getting an extension. So
and $30 million guaranteed goes.
But he would have got that from the Steelers.
He didn't have it.
No, the Steelers weren't cutting him. If he didn't act up, the Steelers were not getting rid of him.
But that's what I'm saying. He would have had to play that contract. Right.
He would have got that regardless.
He would have got that, but now you got that $30 million guaranteed.
I'm saying words. It's just wordplay. He would have still got the money regardless.
And
but he's guaranteed it now. You don't think that gives him some comfort? If you get injured, they
the
can
Steelers
cut you.
weren't getting away from him.
But what if you got injured?
The Steelers weren't going away from him.
But that's not my point. My point is, what if he got injured?
They didn't go. They wouldn't have went away from him. Still,
you still think they would have paid him out?
Yes, they paid out Ryan Shazier.
I think his biggest problem was more so in that locker room with his quarterback.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And whenever that splits, whenever you have that's almost the worst breakup, more so than the marriage.
Yeah,
it's
trash. Ben is trash. I wonder why they keep hitching their wagon to that serial sex
You know why?
abuser.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and 2 sex abuse cases, too.
Well,
let's hitch the wagon to that one.
All right, how about Le'Veon Bell to the Jets? Thoughts, impressions, ideas. What are your thoughts on that?
Love
Carlos?
it.
Yeah?
He wanted out, too. Wonder why.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen,
wonder why.
Exactly. Now,
Like-
some people say that his deal wasn't as lucrative as obviously,
right?
You know, because I think he lost about
lost
$5
money,
million.
Yeah,
Something
he's
like that.
losing. He's losing $5 million this year, and he's losing. He's losing about over the course of the contract. He's losing about 14 million.
About 4, yeah.
About 14 million.
But they counting in the 14 million he would have missed from
from last year.
But my thing is, it wasn't. It got to the point he just wanted out of Pittsburgh.
No doubt. And I was going to say
But he
that,
didn't care
that
about
loss is probably for him happier that he's out
Absolutely.
of that locker room and going someplace.
And people
How can
don't
you-
understand
How can you
that.
lose something you never had?
Yeah.
But people don't understand that when you're not happy and you want to be someplace else, you want to play in a different environment, you just don't like the people you work with, it's time to move on for whatever
And
reason.
You're right, but people don't understand it because they don't live in that realm. Like
that realm, right.
he's not broke. He wasn't like when he didn't have a job. He's destitute and he's eating in a soup kitchen. He has no money. He has money already. He's comfortable enough to say, I'm not happy here. I don't like the way you treated me because this is what you were going to do. You're going to hand me the ball another 400 times this year,
Right.
and then you're going to let me leave.
Right.
And then another team going to say, wow, you just came off touching the ball 400 some times.
Exactly.
We're not going to give you a long-term deal. This is why the NFL Players Association, you need to get this franchise tag out of football or just make it where they could do it 1 year. You sign them once and you extend them or you let them go and be a free agent, especially at the running back position. Because the running back position, they done said, if you get close to 30, we're going to get rid of you. If you touch the ball over 350 times the year before, we're not going to give you a big contract. So you shorten their careers to the point where they're saying, you're good for 4 years. We'll use you up and throw you to the side.
Exactly.
But you got bum quarterbacks like Fitzpatrick and all these other people who stay around for like 20 years.
I mean, from a financial standpoint, it's purely financial. I mean, people that deal
Pay
with
the
money,
talent.
that deal with money, they was like, yo, definitely was not a good deal because you definitely lost money. Because what you don't understand is when you get with the 14.5 that he would have got, you take that money, you bank it, that's interest, that's money you cannot get back, no matter what that interest. And there's something called compound interest.
We're putting his value on. If his value wasn't the money, and he's happy where he is, people can't say the man made a mistake if that's the decision he wanted to make.
Well, no, you cannot.
But that's what they're killing him in. They're killing him in the media.
You cannot put a price
They
on
are.
money. But when you talk from a strictly numbers portion, and when you get up to a certain tax bracket, that's what you are concerned about. You know, because that interest and stuff like that, and especially when you can move it and put it in places that reduces your tax liability.
But he's in that tax bracket now.
Then and he lost serious money. Like,
But even still, he lost that $14 million. But
his
he's still in the
financial-
same tax bracket.
His financial planner is looking at him like, dude, you
Well, listen.
you just messed this up right here.
Working on Wall Street many years ago, there's something that people will tell you: take the emotions out of your decision and deal with the facts. And when you're dealing with numbers, you're dealing with facts.
There you go. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll bring it back with a little more NFL talk. We got a little NBA talk. We got another guest coming in, the great Jamal Murphy coming in. We're going to talk NCAA basketball tournament. Keep it locked, WBKS1.com, BKS1 Radio TV on YouTube, WBKS1 in the game. Keep it locked. Welcome back. WBKS1.com in the game Tuesday night, talking sports with you. Callers, you can call in. The call-in number is 646-233-1302. We got the great Eugene Napoleon in studio talking sports with us. I want to talk to you about something that came across. The Sloan Sports Analytics Conference awarded the Raiders the Alpha Award, Ghost, for best transaction, the Khalil Mack trade.
That's the best transaction they made?
That's the best transaction of the year, the Sloan Sports Conference.
Where are they from, Chicago? No, I mean, because like, what are they saying that made this the best transaction
They're
for Oakland?
saying that given what they gave up and given what they acquired, this was the best sports transaction of the year.
You acquired a number one pick, right?
I'm just telling you.
Like, I mean, I can see if you said you gave them that for what you gave the Steelers for Antonio Brown, which was basically a bag of chips and a nickel. But Khalil Mack, because you got rid of Khalil Mack, and then you said, oh, we need to get to the pass rusher. Yeah, so now you're going to have to go out and draft a defensive lineman who's not going to be on that level. I don't know why they gave him that. Like, let's say out of Chicago, I don't see why that one made him the Alpha Award, because that was a dumb. That's a terrible move.
Yeah, it's the second
annual.
You
don't trade pass rushers.
It's the second annual Alpha Awards. It's the MIT Sloan Analytics Conference, and they awarded the Oakland Raiders and John Gruden the Alpha Award for trading Khalil Mack.
Wow. That single-handedly, I thought, in as much as I respect the Grudens, I played with his brother in the AFL,
right.
Jay Gruden, and that's a smart family. They're really, really smart people. But that move right there for me, I said, wait a second. You can't make that move.
Not Khalil Mack.
You can't let this guy walk. Like, and this people might listen. That's almost the equivalent of the Patriots doing something real foolish with Brady.
Yeah.
Okay? Because on defense, you couldn't tell me Khalil Mack.
Look what he did for Chicago. This man, I mean,
It made Chicago a playoff team.
Because they were on TV, and I watched Khalil Mack single-handedly destroy teams. And I'm looking like, this guy, no matter where you put him at, what you do, he strip sack. He got interceptions, fumble recoveries, forced fumbles. Right. And this is all in the same game. And I'm like, this man is arguably the best defensive lineman.
And guess what? And he's going to be that for a while to come.
All right. Let's bring in our next guest, 718, the great Jamal Murphy. Is that the great Jamal Murphy out there?
Don't sound like
Call us, state your name. Hello.
Don't sound like it.
Nope.
Uh-oh, hold on. We have some technical difficulties. Ghost will get that worked out. Let's see. Hold on. We got a new phone system, and it's
But speaking about the Khalil Mack, going back to kind of like Ghost's point, if Gruden, if he's not happy with him, if he feels he does not play in my system, no amount of money or no amount of your supposed talent is going to allow me to keep you here, because I don't want you here.
And Coach, you know what? That's a good point. Because most coaches, that's a great point. You are not going to run my locker room.
Exactly. I don't care if they all like you. I will get rid of you before that, because I don't like you and I don't feel that you fit my system. Right. And we can all agree that most players, no matter what the talent, it's also the system that they're in that allows them to shine or not shine in some cases.
Well, yeah, you can put a player on ice depending on.
They did DeMarcus Allen.
You better believe it. Yeah, you can put a player on ice. We've seen that. We've seen that throughout certain players' careers.
Yep.
Trying to get these phones worked out, folks. Give us a second. We're working on it.
And with John Gruden, he wasn't going nowhere because he had a 10-year contract. So no matter what, it's like it's either his way or no way.
Just to see that move once again, and it showed me he made that move based on, look, this is my team. I'm gonna run this team the way I want.
Oh, there we go. All right, there it is. The great Jamal Murphy, the Blackatologist, co-host of Bros Pod, Bill Roden on Sports. What's up, Murph?
What's going on, people? What's the deal?
Sorry about that, man.
Sorry
about
that.
This new Skype thing had me confused for a minute.
All right,
it's all good.
Let's jump right into it, Murph.
So Duke going out first round?
Here we go.
How much we putting on that one?
I'll put everything I got in my pocket on it.
Which must be nothing.
Right, I don't carry cash.
All right, we got
now. Hold on now. When we joking and laughing, I would, if I was in Vegas, I would put money on that other team, because just think about if they win. This thing about it, just the luck of the draw. Somebody got hurt. Like 4 people on Duke got hurt. The team won. You know how much money you make off of that bet?
If 4 people got hurt, yeah.
I might wait till the next round. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, Buster Douglas won. He won a lot of money. Nobody thought he was going to win either.
All right, let's talk about the number 1 seeds. You got Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, and Gonzaga. Murph, tell me which number 1 seed is not going to make it to the Final Four.
I think 2 of them don't make it, but the one I'll give you is UNC. I think the Midwest is a tough region. Got a lot of good teams. Kentucky is in that region. Kentucky beat North Carolina on neutral floor this year. You got Auburn at the 5th seed playing well. You have Houston having their best season since Clyde Drexler and Olajuwon. So you got a lot of tough teams out there. So, and UNC, I think, is a very good team, but I think they're playing a little above their heads the second half of the season, and I don't think they can sustain that same, playing the same way.
How far is Virginia going to go? Are they going to get knocked out by another 16?
Nah, I mean, well, hopefully not, because Coach Bennett might have to retire after that. If they lose again to a 16 seed, I mean, I don't know what to tell them. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they get by that first round. I think I got them going to the Elite Eight, losing to Tennessee. But I could see even like a Wisconsin giving them problems, even a Kansas State. You know, they kind of play the same style, slow down, grind it out defense. So those are going to be close games. And, you know, when they're that close and they're that low scoring, they could go either way. So we'll see.
Did Michigan State get robbed? Should they have been a number 1 seed, replacing Gonzaga in the West?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, coming down the line, we had about 5 teams that had a chance at the 1 seed. Michigan State was probably like the 6th. They were just outside of that. Them in Michigan. I think Gonzaga, they just had such a great season. You know, even in their league, usually they've had seasons like this before where they're good. They're okay in the non-conference, and then they go through their conference and they beat everybody. But this year they were beating people in their conference by like 30 and 40 points every night. They played a tough schedule. They beat Duke. They lost a close game to Tennessee on a neutral court. They lost at North Carolina. I think they played a tough enough schedule out of conference to deserve the 1. And they're good. They passed the eye test. Like, their front line is no joke. They got a couple pros on that team. So I think they deserve. Michigan State, I think, is right where they should be at a 2 seed.
Who do you let me just see giving Duke the most problems?
I mean, I think if they end up meeting Michigan State in that regional final, I think that's going to be a tough game. I think they'll get all they can. You know, Izzo and Michigan State will be physical. They'll try to get physical with Zion, try to get him in foul trouble. You know, they're going to play smart. They got some bodies out there. So I think they're going to, you know, it'll be tough at that point. Before that, you know, some people are saying Virginia Tech, who's in their conference, and Virginia Tech beat them when they played at Virginia Tech this year. People think that they'll give them some problems. I don't really see it on a neutral floor, especially if Zion comes to play.
Do you think, now, going back to my Michigan State Gonzaga position, Gonzaga lost their conference championship game, but Michigan won the Big Ten.
So.
Oh, Michigan State. Yeah,
Michigan State.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, they actually won the Big Ten and won the Big Ten tournament.
That's what I mean.
I'm pretty. Yeah, so
and to put them in that bracket against Duke,
I think during the season they had a few suspect losses, at least 1 or 2 suspect losses where Gonzaga didn't have that. But I hear you. I mean, I think they should have got more consideration than they did, because everybody was either talking about Tennessee. If they would have won that championship game against Auburn, people were saying Tennessee would have gotten the 1 seed, and then when they lost, it went straight to Gonzaga. So I agree with you. One of the things was that their championship game was late on Sunday, and the committee never pays attention to that. So maybe the Big Ten should move their championship just like the Big East has, and the ACC, they moved it to Saturday.
Well, I just felt like I watched the Gonzaga championship game, and they got worked. I mean, they only put up 47 points in the championship game. I realized they had a great regular season, but I watched that game, and they got worked from start to finish. They couldn't come back. They didn't put on a good show, and I'm always disappointed with Gonzaga. I know they made it to the Final Four a couple of years ago. They made a championship game, but they always seem to be a bridesmaid, never a bride. And I just think that that's going to be the story again this year. I think Michigan's going to come out of the West region and take Gonzaga out.
I mean, it's possible. Even Florida State is going to be tough in that region. Florida State could beat Gonzaga. I actually think this is the best Gonzaga team I've seen in about at least 10 years. I've been paying attention to them. I like them better than their last Final Four team. They're more athletic. They got some big time athletes at the forward spot. They got 2 good guards. Like I said, this year they played everybody. They beat Duke in that game, as we remember from when they were in Maui. And then, like I said, this time during the regular season, they were just killing everybody. And you're right, they got by St. Mary's in that last game. St. Mary's, I watched that game too. St. Mary's played basically the perfect game. Once it got to the end and Gonzaga started making a run, they started hitting some crazy shots without even looking. It was one of those classic upset games. So I actually think that's a good thing for Gonzaga that they they took a loss. They played their easy conference schedule, blown through it. But I think it's a good thing they actually took a loss, got to regroup, and I think they come to play from game one.
Ja Morant. I hear a lot about Ja Morant, Murray State. Is he as good as advertised? Yeah, he's good, man. When I was at the beginning of the season, I didn't really watch him that much. I was just seeing highlights, so I was a little suspect. Like, he's getting his height. He could jump. He can dunk on people. We'll see. And then when they played their conference tournament, the OVC tournament, I watched 2 full games of his, and the kid is the real deal. I can't even imagine him not being good not being very good at the next level. He is he does kind of remind you of Westbrook, but more like Westbrook in the pros. I remember Westbrook as a freshman in college. He didn't have it all put together like this kid does. The kid averages 10 assists a game in college, which is basically unheard of. So people don't even talk about that part of his game. His vision is sick. He sees the whole floor. He sets his teammates up. And at the same time, he's averaging like 24 points and at least dunking on somebody 2 times a game. So he's a sick athlete who also knows the game and can play. So I think he's the real deal. He's got to be no lower than the 3rd pick overall. All right, give me your double-digit upset special, Murph. We're on the phone with Jamal Murphy, the great bracketologist on Twitter. He is our NCAA expert, co-host of Bros Pod, Bill Roden on sports. Give me a double-digit upset special.
Double-digit upset special. There's a few of them. I'll give you Northeastern playing against Kansas. Kansas has a 4 seed this year, which is unheard of. Usually they're a 1 or 2 seed. So obviously they didn't win their conference, the Big 12, for the first time, I think, in 14 years. So they're obviously a little down. They've had all kinds of injuries. They got 2 freshman guards that they rely on, and they've been up and down and haven't really lived up to expectations in terms of what their rankings were in high school. So, they haven't been consistent. Then they're playing this Northeastern team out of the Colonial, and they're like all seniors, and they got this dude that people are calling the Conference USA Luka because he's some foreign dude who's nice. So it's kind of perfect for the upset. An older team been together playing against a young team that struggled all year. Give me Northeastern.
Is that the only one? Go ahead, Coach Tree, you got one?
No, but I have a question. So if you said Ja Morant is going no lower than 3rd, which Duke player is he going to jump over? Because you got Zion, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett. Did they say everybody's been saying, oh yeah? So he said no lower. So if they take the top 3, then he's 4th. If that.
He's bumping
so who he's
Cam
going to
Reddish
jump?
right out of there.
He's going to knock who out?
Yeah, he's bumping Cam Reddish right out.
Okay.
Ooh, you heard it here first, folks.
What he's done this year, and I like Reddish, but he hasn't. He's kind of disappeared in a bunch of games. His stock has dropped a tiny little bit. I still think Reddish, could be top 5, top 6, something like that. But yeah, this kid. Some people have him going 2 ahead of RJ Barrett. I don't know about that. But I think after watching those 2 games, I'm like, you got to think about it.
But here's what I think about that is because, especially around tournament time, people get enamored with the shiny object. Like, ooh, the shiny object. Whereas the people that have been scouting, for these teams have been scouting these players for a long time, sometimes more than a year, more than a season.
Right.
So, and, he could, I haven't been too happy with Cam Reddish myself. And I really don't like Duke. I especially don't like the way they play now because they don't run any plays. So my thing is, like, any team that is disciplined enough to run plays can beat Duke because they only rely on their athleticism. They rely heavily on Zion Williams to like erase anything that's negative about their game, and they don't. Again, they are not disciplined enough to run an offense, which is what you need in tournament time.
Ooh,
I don't. Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Like especially that Zion makes such a huge difference on that team. Like you saw when he went out, they lost a couple games to good teams, but they still lost. So he does make up for a lot of like the issues because they still freshmen. It's like, they got 4 freshmen out there trying to get things done. So they're going to be a little sloppy here and there. But at least Trey Jones plays great defense for a freshman. He's really like the rock on the team. He's unselfish. He doesn't care how many points he scores. So he's the one guy that can keep them disciplined. And then Zion is just a complete freak of nature. So he's, if he's out there, he's going to dominate. And he plays with that energy. So,
but there's been very few teams.
If you have Zion on that team, it's hard to pick against him.
But there have been very few national champions that had a freak of nature that really carried the team. Like usually the freak of nature has some sidekicks with them. Like I will take it back even when Patrick Ewing was a freshman. There was nobody more dominant than him. But even he needed, he needed Michael Brown, David Wingate, and all of them to like help with the national championship. True. So I have never, freak of nature, yes, okay, I totally agree with that. But I have never seen a national championship team win with just a freak of nature. Just hasn't happened.
But then they do. But look at we just talked about it. RJ, they got at the very least the 1 and the 2 pick of the draft, or the 1 and the 3 pick of the draft. So I know RJ is a little up and down, but he's still, he can't get injured either. Like people are like, oh, they couldn't win with Zion out. If Zion was playing and he didn't have RJ, they wouldn't be winning either.
Right.
And then Cam Reddish, he stepped up every now and then.
Exactly.
Cam Reddish needs to do a better job of that.
Exactly.
But don't forget, they got 2 big time players.
Right, but they don't have a bench, and you need a bench. Especially with a team, especially in tournament time when it gets a bit more physical, and they call it. Well, depending on what like ref crew you get, when they start calling it, and they get into foul trouble. Because I watched Zion's defense, and he again freak of nature, but as far as defensive principles, not very strong on. So that's why if they get into foul trouble, they will be in trouble. And even though they do have Trey Jones, which I do like, even though he is young, usually those teams, again, even with the freak of nature, and they do have RJ, but they're still freshmen. There needs to be some more older leadership. I don't necessarily mean it has to be a senior. And that's why, you said North Carolina, might get out early. I would bet against that because they do have some more of that. Even though Kobe White, I love Kobe White, especially love the hair. As fast as he is, he's a freshman. But they have that steadying presence in Luke May. Like I was like, he's still here.
No, that's true.
So
they definitely have, they have seniors over there.
Right.
They do.
So
that's the perfect test, right? We're gonna see which one goes further, the team with the most talent or the team with the most experience.
You're right.
And
we'll see.
We'll see. And and that's the thing. You're right about North Carolina. They do have those seniors that calm them down. But the point guard, the head of the team, is Kobe, and we know he can get wild every now and then. I love his game too. He's a top 10 pick now. They're saying too. So he's a beast. But it'll be exciting. The regular season, Duke with Zion was pretty much by far the best team I think in the country when they had Zion on the court. Then he comes back he's out for a month, comes back. And goes 13 for 13, 29 and 15. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm not gonna bet against them. What I'm saying?
Talk to me about a couple more teams I want to ask you about, Murph. LSU Tigers. You got Wade Wilson, who just was suspended indefinitely. Can they make a run given their circumstances around the coaching?
Wow, this is one of the teams. LSU is one of those teams that I watch as much college as I can. You can't really focus on every team, But LSU was one of those teams, man. They had so much talent on the low. Like they had about, I want to say, 4 or 5, big time high school players on that team, like either McDonald's, All-Americans, or Jordan Brand. So I watched them a bunch of times. I mean, they got guards, they got nice guards, they got bigs. Like they got talent all across the board. And when they had their coach, who was also a solid coach, that's why they won the SEC. They won the SEC over Tennessee, over Kentucky. So they end up getting a 3 seed because they took some early season losses. But yeah, I think without the coach, we're talking about another young team. We're just talking about talent and youth. They have it the same or worse. Like they got freshmen and sophomores and a bunch of talent, but they're not the smartest decision makers on the court. So and then that's with their coach. So now without their coach, I'm a little worried. I'm scared that even like a Yale could could slow down the game and beat them. Even though Yale, this season kind of scored a lot of points, so I don't know if they'll slow it down. But Yale's going to be disciplined and not make mistakes. So that's an interesting. That's another double-digit seed to look out for. 14 Yale versus 3 LSU. But if
LSU
I'm rooting for LSU. I hope because they got so much talent, so much young talent. We're going to see a bunch of these dudes in the NBA. I would love to see them, get far, coach or not. But I'm a little scared.
Yeah, I'm scared about that too. I don't know that I have the courage to pick Yale over LSU simply because of the talent. But I do think that losing their head coach is going to have. I mean, you'd be crazy to say it's not going to have any effect. Yeah, he was suspended indefinitely because he was caught on tape making some comments where it sounded like he was talking about a deal that he offered a recruit.
Like.
Allegedly.
Sounded like, did you read the transcript? Sounded like, nah, he gone. If you think he coming back, you can forget that.
We could go over that later, but I also want to talk to you about Jay Wright and Villanova. Can they make a run? What are their give me your prognosis on the Villanova Wildcats.
Yeah, no, I think Jay Wright did a great job this year because they lost 4 guys to the pros from last year. So they were left with 2 juniors from last year, Booth and Eric Pascal. Both of them carried the team. They obviously weren't as good as they were the past few years, but Jay Wright got them to scrap it out. They became more of like a scrappy defensive team that does just enough to win. Hard nosed, and so they're a 6th seed now. They're another one. They have a tough first round matchup against the same team we just talked about, who beat Gonzaga, played the perfect game against Gonzaga. They're going to slow it down. I think that first round game is going to be a close, ugly game. I think Villanova will sneak out a victory. But after that, maybe they could beat Purdue, but I don't see them getting too far. Like, I don't see if they were matched up with Tennessee or something like that. I couldn't see them really pulling that out. I think Sweet 16 is probably their ceiling.
All right, who you got in your Final Four, and who do you have winning it all?
I'm pretty much chalk. I got Duke, Gonzaga, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And then I got Duke over Tennessee for the title.
Duke over Tennessee. You sure you don't have a little bit of North Carolina bias? Like you don't want to give North Carolina in the final? I mean, because wouldn't that be
I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? But just from watching the whole season, I'll just put it like this: North Carolina coming into the season really wasn't supposed to be this good. They were supposed to be solid, right? And I just feel like North Carolina kind of played above their head a little bit in the second half. And like it or not, they had those 2 wins over Duke, which are great, but neither time Zion Williamson played. You know what I'm saying? So those are kind of like it looked better than it really was. That's all. So
but when Zion played,
it might be a little tiny bit overrated.
But when Zion played, they only won by 1, and that was the game he was perfect in.
That's true. His first game back, they kept that. That's why they got the 1 seed, because they played him so tough. But that rivalry is crazy anyway. Like no matter when those two play, who's on the court, they playing the hardest they could possibly play. So, I just feel like when they play another team, I don't know if they're gonna have that same kind of emotion.
I have a disdain for Duke. I just don't like them, but I just love how they did a whole 180 before they was all structured and played in a certain system. Now they get refreshing, boy. Now they just helter skelter. And maybe now they probably put out a good pro.
I've been a Duke hater, for a long time, and I think this is the first team that I couldn't hate.
And they probably put out some good pros now that they went this way.
Yeah, you know, Murph, it's funny you say that because I've been a Duke hater for a long time, and this is the first time that I don't want to say I'm rooting for Duke, but it's the first year where I'm not rooting against Duke.
I root against Duke every moment. I like Zion. I like R.J. Barrett. I want to see them do well in the next level. But I root against Duke every single time I see them step on the floor.
All right, real quick, let me ask you one quick NBA question before we let you go, Murph. Recently, Walt Clyde Frazier made some comments about LeBron James. I'm going to play the clip for him real quick.
This type of behavior is not. When you're the face of the NBA, I think you should be more a part of your team, folks. No matter what is going on in the public, you got to be a part of the team. Maybe in the locker room, you're not, but you have to exude that type of togetherness in public, folks. And right now, we see he doesn't really care.
Do you agree with Walt?
So
I mean, you agree with Clyde? You think LeBron is just giving up on the season? He doesn't really care about the team?
Yeah. I mean, Walt's just keeping it real. I mean, Walt's old enough now. He ain't gonna bite his tongue anymore. He's just trying to educate the masses. You know what I'm saying? Trying to tell people what's going on. I mean, we all can see that. We all know what it is. We all see him. You know, even if it's just symbolic, he's sitting on the end of the bench. Maybe that didn't mean that. Fine, but the dude tried to trade his whole team. He got his best friend. One of his best friends is the agent for Anthony Davis. That's his boy, right? He tried to trade the whole team. It was public, okay? He thinks everybody knows that. So at that point, once that went bad, it was a wrap. And maybe he should have, and that's my only criticism of LeBron is his GM skills. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's great. He's going to go down.
Hold on.
Top two greatest all time. He's going to go down as the greatest off the court of all time by far. You know what I'm saying? But as a GM, he's not that good.
All right,
who's the actual GM of the league?
Hold on. Rob Pelinka, former agent. Now, hold on. I'm going to give you the retort because there were some comments that defended LeBron. I'll let you hear that, and then maybe you'll change your answer.
With these comments, the floor is yours.
I'm really upset.
This is Damon Jones.
I'm upset for a couple of different reasons, and it's not just about Clyde Frazier. Since I left here Christmas, I've been watching show after show after show, and LeBron James has been getting so much unfair criticism that it's driving me nuts, okay? If we want to talk about the Lakers not winning and not making the playoffs, okay, fine. I'm okay with that, okay? But when you start talking about a guy and not being a good teammate, being a coach killer, being a de facto GM, and I played with this guy and also coached him. He's none of that, okay? He wants to go out, play at the highest level possible, and help his basketball team win, okay? That clip right there, he's done that all year. Actually, he's done it the last 4 years. LeBron James has led the NBA in minutes the last 5 years, okay? So when he comes out of the game, he grabs his pad, goes to the end of the bench, and he sits down for, 2 minutes maybe? And here Clyde Frazier is talking about he's not engaged in the game. He's the face of the NBA. He needs to be better. I'm going to tell you this, Clyde Frazier, because you don't know. Last night after the game, I went and had dinner with LeBron. And you know what? 6 of his teammates was with him. So if he's not a good teammate, he's not a good leader, he wouldn't be hanging with these guys off the floor in New York City. Come on. And this is not just for Clyde. This is for everybody that's taking shots at LeBron James. Stop it, because it's not warranted and it's not fair. Because these guys have never played with him and never coached him, never been around him in a NBA season. And if you haven't, your criticism is unfair.
Okay, but hold on.
But you're dead wrong. You're wrong.
So, Murph, what do you got to say to that? That's Damon Jones defending his guy.
I mean, maybe he want to get a job or something. You know what I'm saying? I would stick up for Bron too. That's his boy. He's gonna stick up for him, and he's right. A lot of that he's right. But at the same time, so you're telling me he had nothing to do with the Anthony Davis trade rumors?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
that didn't hurt the team. Just tell me that.
First of all, them teams should be grown men and understand it's a business, so you might be traded for a better player.
Doesn't mean they are, though.
Then I can't worry about your feelings. If he got if I'm him, I'm not stroking the ego. This is a business.
But
If
then
you can't take possibly being traded,
take
then.
responsibility for the L's that come afterwards. That's
But did
all.
anybody? He has he not taken responsibility? Has he said anything else?
I didn't say.
No, I'm just asking because I don't know. I haven't kept up with it. I just hear what
No,
all
I
the
don't think. I
criticism's
don't
coming
think,
from.
I don't.
But
yeah,
I want to know,
don't think
has he
he's been
said
like,
that?
You know, I'm sure he is taking responsibility. He should be. You know, he has to. It's his team. Everybody knows it's his team. He's got to take responsibility for that. And
I just find it funny,
I
right?
don't think he's running from it.
I just find it
True.
funny that people saying he's having such a down year, but if you look at his stats, he's right on par with his career numbers.
Yeah, stats wise
27,
and playing wise, he's fine. I'm
but-
talking about it as a GM.
Oh, I'm not talking about he's not a GM. I'm talking about playing on the court, and they're
No,
saying
playing,
he's
he's
having
been
a
great.
down. He's having a down year. I'm just saying what people are saying. He's having a down year. He's not
Yeah,
really
no,
having a down year.
that's
It's just
great.
that his
Yeah,
teammates
I
are
agree.
trash.
But his
teammates aren't nowhere
that's
near
great.
the teammates he had in Cleveland.
Now I got to
The dude's
ask you
averaging
this.
like what, 28, 8 and 8.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying?
I got to ask you this.
That's great.
On Sunday, what was it, Sunday night's game, Mario Hezonja blocked LeBron's shot in the final seconds. Is this the beginning of the end, Murph? Have we seen the best of LeBron?
Nah. I mean, I think LeBron is slowing down. Like you say, he's getting 28, 8 and 8. You know what I'm saying? So maybe maybe he doesn't get off the floor.
Who the hell is
as
Mario
high as,
Hezonja?
in his prime, but nah, he got a few years to go. He's
Who
good.
is Mario Hezonja? Can you tell me that, Murph?
Not really, but that look he gave LeBron, boy, that was something right there. He was like, "What? This dude really trying to score on me?" Come on.
But I just need to say about this whole thing with Clyde Frazier, he's not wrong. And then Damon Jones saying like this is something that he's always done. You're right. It's something that he's always done. However, no one ever called him on it. He always gave him a pass. Why? Because he was winning and he was going to 8 straight finals. Okay, fine. I give you all that. Kudos to you. Not knocking it. However, when you are the leader, everybody can be, nice and show, we fight hard, we do this and say all the right things when you're winning, when things are going your way. But when things are not going your way and this adversity, not that he never had adversity before in his life or on the basketball court, but when adversity comes, that's when we see what you're truly made of. What are you going to do? And then, to have the self-awareness to know that yes, you are being looked at. You've been looked at ever since you got into the NBA. So when times are tough, that's when they are looking toward you. Now you can say, oh, well, he went out to dinner with 6 of his teammates. Well, you know what? They may have went out with him because they want to stay on his good side. That's why they may have done that. You think about the king with the court jesters and everybody, the sycophants.
No? Can I retort
exactly.
this?
Hold on, I got one more thing. I got one more thing on that. And everybody wants to talk about, culture and this, that, and the other. So they want to have culture, but yet when things happen that will affect the makeup or the chemistry of a team, now all of a sudden get your feelings out of it. No, you can't have it both ways. Culture is about people's thoughts, their emotions, how they perceive and interact with other people, those social connections. And when people don't have the emotional intelligence or the self-awareness or the wherewithal to process it and figure it out, that's what you get.
Okay. If I'm LeBron James, I can care less whether you like me as a friend. We all getting paid to go play a game. You play your position, I play my position. We run the plays. I ain't got to hold your hand and sing kumbaya and talk about your kids. None of that.
Right.
We work together. We work together. And you're a professional. Do your job. And if you can't do your job because you're in your emotion because you might have got traded, then I don't need to be around you.
No, you're
so
right.
So why do what does the difference make whether we friends or not?
I agree with that.
My whole thing is just that I'm just saying if he wanted to win, like if he would have done it differently, I think they would have been in the playoffs.
Friendship has nothing to do with winning.
So
I'm gonna go back to say before the season started, I didn't think they were making the playoffs when they traded for LeBron.
But you're right.
Because of the talent they had on the team.
Right. They were a 4 spot.
They were in a 4 spot.
But I think because of the talent they had on the team, they weren't going to make the playoffs.
But I mean, you're right. We don't have to be friends. I mean, there's plenty of people that I work with that I'm not friends with. But at the same time, knowing my position within my department and how I am looked at, there's certain things I'm just not going to do because the optics. Okay, and the perception that it gives out there. Like I said, leadership, you want to be the king, you want to be in charge. It's all well and good to be the king and be the leader when everything is fine. But it's when it's not fine.
It's people making assumptions about his mind
fired up now.
how he feels without even speaking to the man.
But
that's
it
the part that cracks me up.
It doesn't.
It's like the media is crucifying him
I'm fired up now.
what he's saying.
Talking about the game, right?
But it's
That's
about
the part
the
that gets
game
me.
right now.
But it's about
Like
what
that,
you
of course,
show
he
us.
shouldn't-
It's
he
not.
shouldn't care
It's
anymore.
about what you show us.
He
The
cares
perception,
now.
y'all make a reality out of perception. That ain't reality.
Hold on. We can only judge by what he shows us. And if that's what you show me, then that's what I judge.
You could be a wrong. You can make a wrong assessment.
I don't think. Not if that's
You
what
can
you're
make a
showing me.
wrong assessment off of perception.
All right, everybody.
I'm telling you. If y'all think that that's 100%, then y'all foolish.
And then that's when you have to come. And then that's when you have to come up. If you
Have
see,
you ever made 100% off of perception of something? So you're 100% correct.
Even if I am wrong, and that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, if you don't want somebody else to tell your narrative or shape your narrative, then you must do something so it's not told that way. That's
Don't worry
what you
about
must
narrative,
do.
kids.
All right, Murph. I think we had a spirited debate.
All right.
Tell the people where they can find you, Murph.
Find me on Bill Roden on Sports at Bros Pod, on iTunes and SoundCloud. Check me out on Twitter at Blackatologist, on Instagram at Blackatologist, and all that good stuff.
Hey, man, thank you for your time, as always. Thank you for making our show a little bit better.
He likes your blackatologist name.
The great Jamal Murphy.
And just to let you know, Murph, I changed my bracket to go with your pick. So if I lose, man, I'm coming to you for my entry fee back.
I take it all back. Don't do none of that.
All right, Murph. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Take it easy.
All right, man.
All right, let's take a quick 2-minute break. We'll be right back. Keep it locked. WBKS1.com. We'll be right back after the break. All right, folks, welcome back. WBKS1.com, BKS1 Radio TV on YouTube. We are live in the game. We're having a nice spirited debate. I want to remind the people, Nap, of when your documentary is coming out and what it is all about. Tell the people again where they can find you.
I appreciate it. The documentary will be out the third week in April.
Okay.
On 11 major
And what's the name
platforms.
of it again?
It's called Inside the Jersey, Eugene Napoleon Documentary, distributed by Primo Media.
All right, let's go. Now, give me a little bit of background. What is it going to talk about? What should people be looking for as it relates to inside the jersey? Eugene Napoleon. What are they going to talk about? What should we be looking for?
X amount of 20 to 30 years ago, some of the things that I did on campus, which let's say go to Children's Hospital, becoming a real fixture in Morgantown.
Okay.
Off the field things that maybe a lot of the fans didn't know about.
Okay.
You know, that one of the major keys was that 1988 football team that went undefeated. We played Notre Dame for national championship. There was a lot of stories, a lot of things that led up to that maybe some of the fans didn't know. So this documentary, it kind of dives into a little bit of that. Talked about that team, talked about my time there. So they actually chronicled my years on campus.
Now, how do you how do you take that? And when I think about a documentary, I think about all the things that you could say. How do you narrow it down so that you put forth your vision of your time? Because 4 years is a lot of time. You had a lot of experiences, but how do you trim that down and make it a coherent story so that it really is not just entertaining but informative to the people?
And it's interesting because I think it took us a few days to do just that, and literally had to sit down and write a script.
Yeah.
You know,
because I would imagine it's tough.
Oh, it was tough to really get what you want the fans to see.
Right, exactly.
One of the things I wanted to talk about in that documentary, and it came across from me watching the preview of it really, really well, was giving the parents information of what it means to be a student athlete. You know what I mean? Because people have a different perception of what that really is when you're at that level. And I talked about the kind of money that goes into major college sports, the TV contracts. So I actually sat down and chronicled that, and I did it in a building. I don't want to give too much away, where it's a famous building on that campus that had you. If you were born and raised in West Virginia, or if you attended WVU, you know what that building is.
Okay,
you know what I mean. That part to me was really important because I wanted to give that information out and let the parents really let that kind of sink in a little bit. That was one, and a big piece to me was the Children's Hospital, because I did that 30 years ago, and coming back this time to shoot this documentary, I had a chance to go and do it again.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? So
awesome. It
was incredible. So I wanted the documentary to speak exactly to who I was then to who I am now.
There you go.
And
you know what I mean?
What major platforms can we check it out on?
Yeah, it's let me see. Roku, Xbox, Xfinity.
You said Amazon Prime.
Comcast.
Okay.
It's 11 major platforms.
Because I have the Roku, I have Amazon
Roku?
Prime. I'm streaming on basically all of that.
So we okay. So you definitely gonna be able to check it out.
Yeah, I'll be looking.
So when I call you,
yes,
you can't say, "Oh, now I can't."
No. Listen, first of all, I'm gonna tell you. It's a good thing you told me it's a documentary, because I love documentaries. I don't necessarily watch a lot of movies, but you give me somebody's true story, because I want to see
documentary or movie
every time. I think real life is far more interesting than anything they can create in Hollywood. That's just me. So I love documentaries.
I start thinking too much of movies.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen.
Right, exactly. You start saying
real?
like, come on, man. You have to suspend your belief in a movie, whereas I've watched so many documentaries, and I'm saying, I just watched the movie, which we talked about. I just watched that documentary, Free Solo.
Yeah,
bruh,
the guy's crazy.
Bruh,
I never
crazy. Have you heard about this? The guy that climbed that El Capitan?
Oh wait,
with no ropes. Yeah. Dog, let me tell you something. We sat there, me, my wife, and my mother-in-law, and we sitting there like, ooh, this dude is grabbing on ledges like this big. I'm talking like this.
I didn't even get through the whole thing. I saw him when he was practicing, and I was like, yeah, no.
With no ropes, man. With no ropes. Like,
no
And he just
way.
went out there one day and said, like, one day he was going to try it. He said he didn't feel it. He got off the mountain. Then he waited a little while. A couple days later, he didn't even tell his girlfriend. He was like,
the girlfriend who broke his back?
Yeah.
They still together?
Yeah. He was hot with that. He said he almost broke up with her. Yeah. But it was a crazy documentary just to see what goes into the mind. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out. I want to check it out.
Coach V, we were talking off air. You were talking about something about LeBron, and you were saying how you don't like when a player comes in and makes or tries to make changes. Tell the organization how they should run it. Can you expand on that point?
That I don't like it. I said it does not work when that happens. Michael Jordan tried that when he went to Washington with Abe Polian. Polian said, hold up, I'm the owner here.
But hold on.
Not you. And it's like, so it's a way, I've always said it's a way to do things. And the NBA tries to brand itself as we're partners. They
Right,
see their
we're
players
players league.
they say we're partners.
Absolutely.
So a partner does not come in and dictate to you or try to bring somebody in through the side door that says, no, we're going to do this. This is our plan. No. First of all, you don't write the checks here. I do. And if that's what you want, then you need to come to me in such a way to say, hey, this is what we can do where we're both going to get a win-win situation out of it. Because again, it speaks to the mentality or to the negotiation of someone who's an owner. And if you don't come in that with that respect, I'm not saying respect as in like that respect to the person, but in that aspect of it, it never ever works.
So what I'm hearing you
which
say,
one? Which one are we talking about? LeBron doing that to now?
He tried that with he tried that with Jeannie Buss. Jeannie Buss, she pulled in Magic and Rob Pelinka and said we need to look at his contract.
But when they
wanted to see, because they knew that he had there was no trade clause, but there was the 15% kicker. So they wanted, if he is traded, that 15% kicker. So they wanted to see exactly what his contract said in case we get to this point where we are going to make that move to trade him.
Like when he went to him and said, "Well, I want to get Anthony Davis here," and once the team said okay, and they went forward with the negotiations, then that's basically them saying, "Okay, well, I'm okay with you trying to dictate who we have here."
Yes, but then
right?
it was also, you're right, there was a tacit, it's almost like a tacit agreement, but then you had Rich Paul doing what he did. And
what did Rich Paul do?
And Rich Paul leaking people's names and giving out information that not saying that it was wrong information, but information that perhaps they weren't ready to get out.
Right.
It's like
we messy.
In other words, you know how they say you messy. We can't.
Yeah, he made it messy.
He made it messy.
So what you're saying is, and
that's your boy. So you got to.
Right.
So when you
you got to rein him in.
Yeah, because when you say, well,
so he leaked it.
Get your boy.
Yeah. He
that's your man.
So let me say, let me see if I'm just going to paraphrase. What you're saying is it should be more of a collaborative effort, with mutual respect, where you come to a guy comes say, and not very many players have this ability to do this in the first place. So
but
specifically, right, we're talking about LeBron. You just want LeBron to go in there to Jeannie Buss and say, hey guys, can we sit down and talk about the types of players that I'd like to play with? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
as opposed to doing it in sort of I'm taking over way.
Exactly. Don't have that coup d'etat. And everybody can say, well, that's not what he was trying to do. But again, self-awareness, understand your reputation that you come with. Whether it's rightly, you got it rightly or wrongly. Whether people are totally seeing you for the wrong way, what they've judged is what has happened. And again, when you don't clear that narrative up and you don't speak your own narrative, that's what they're going to go by. Because again, they're humans. It got to the point where Rich Paul had to go see Jeannie Buss, and he had to make clarifications to her, and she's like, okay, now we cool.
Okay,
but Jeannie Buss wasn't having it.
It's funny, Coach.
Remember, she got rid of her own brother.
Listen, I was going to say, name one franchise in any league where that narrative, where you have a player and an owner coexist when you're making those type of moves.
Miami. When LeBron was there.
Say it again?
When LeBron was there, Miami.
Miami was, but you look at the
he had a big say-so in that roster.
But what happened first, though? Pat Riley put him in his place.
I was going to say, Pat Riley understood when he first came over there, they had a sidebar conversation and said, listen, okay, what is it? What are your goals? And let's see if your goals align with my philosophy,
right?
And then my goals. Because without LeBron James, I don't think they win those championships.
Of course not.
Of course not.
I mean, without LeBron James, none of the last 7 teams went to the finals. The 7 straight finals, he dictated the roster in every situation.
But here's the thing: it takes.
We're acting like this is new.
It's not, but it takes a special owner and a special individual who sits in that seat to say, I'm going to put my ego aside, because let's face it.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what really.
But who's the dumb one? You knew everybody in the NBA knew who he was from day one. When he was in Miami, he dictated it. He went to Cleveland, he dictated it. And you sign him, and you think he's different?
But he didn't really dictate in Miami because
he dictated that roster in Miami.
The roster, but when he tried to dictate the coaching situation with Spoelstra, he went to Pat Riley and say, "Hey, why don't you think about coming back?" Pat Riley was, "Nah, we ain't doing that. Eric Spoelstra's your coach.
But
you're gonna have to do it."
But the NBA knew this, right? Every team in the NBA knew what he's like.
Well, let me tell you something. When you are who he is,
right?
You're 100% correct. If he leaves the Lakers next year,
everybody knows
wherever he goes.
You know what to expect.
Before he gets off the plane. Right, before he gets off the plane, listen, we're going to meet with LeBron and his people. You know what to expect.
Right, absolutely. Now, I want to get to one last topic.
Hold on, but one more last thing.
Sure.
But even when you think about it again, if you don't want a certain narrative out there, when he first gets there, he doesn't even meet with the coach. He don't meet with Luke Walton. LeBron doesn't. No. So again,
I mean, that tells you where he stands.
Whether you feel that he's too that it's not his, he doesn't have to or not. At some point, you gotta say no. We meet with the coach.
The coach had a problem with the organization if they're not forcing them to meet with him.
It is organization too.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I look at it this way: as a CEO of a company, I'm not meeting with management. That's just me.
Okay.
I'm gonna meet with the other CEO, but I'm not gonna be disrespectful to the manager. We have a meeting. We all gonna be in there together, but I want to. Let me talk to the guy. I got to write my checks. You're writing your checks.
Absolutely.
Right? I don't want to be in a situation like in LeBron's case. I can understand why he's doing what he's doing because he can.
Absolutely.
Because he can. And he knows.
But because you can, should you?
In his position, yeah, because if he breaks his leg tomorrow, game over. I think he understands where he is.
But if you have a reputation of a coach killer and then you go to a new team and you don't meet that coach, are you then now...
Coach, you want to laugh at something? If LeBron don't play this role, here's where I'm at with him. Don't play this role. Okay. Don't play the baby role when things don't go your way and the media and the public kicks your back in. Now you pouting a little bit. Don't play that role.
Yes.
Because that's the narrative that you created. Like you said, if you want people to respect you, have it. You can't have it both ways. You the villain or you the nice guy.
Right.
In wrestling, what they call it, the heel or
the hero.
Or the baby face, right? The baby face is the guy that's a good guy. You can't have it both ways. I'm either going to be a heel or he didn't like being a heel.
Right.
Remember when the fans got on him, I was like, wait a second. Joker was like, I need Pampers. He was upset. It bothered me because I'm saying, well, wait a minute. You created this.
But I don't think he expected to deal with that.
All of that.
Right, all of that.
But think about it. Fans are emotional.
Fans are stupid.
Fans are emotional.
No, we can say fans are stupid.
I want to jump into one more topic.
Fans are stupid.
I want to get your opinion on one more.
They're the dumbest people on the face of the earth.
I want to get to your opinion on one more topic. As first reported by the Wall Street Journal, confirmed by the Palm Beach State Attorney's Office,
that sounds
by
serious.
the Associated Press.
Oh, they letting off Kraft?
On Tuesday, Kraft and 24 other men charged with soliciting prostitution have been offered the following deal. They would have to admit they would have been found guilty, do 100 hours of community service, complete a class on the dangers of prostitution, and pay $5,000 per count in exchange for the charges being dropped. Coach V, I'll start with you as the Robert Kraft representative.
I am the Patriots representative, not Kraft.
Okay.
But I'll take that since he is the CEO. Go ahead.
Should Robert Kraft, who said he didn't do anything illegal, should he take this deal and move on?
If I was probably acting as legal counsel and being that there is video and prostitution is considered illegal in the state of Florida, then I would say I would strongly advise you, but it's up to you. If he says he did nothing wrong, like you can say you did nothing wrong, but it doesn't matter if it's against the law because maybe the law is stupid and the law needs to be changed. And then if you really want to say, I'm like, look, you lucky to be getting off with this.
Nap.
Listen. Just because you're who you, in this case, we're talking about Robert Kraft,
yes.
Right? As a man, if you did it, admit to it, be a man about it, right? Just because you're Robert Kraft, for me personally, does not hold you above any laws. What you did was wrong. To say I did nothing wrong and there's film, there's a problem. So if I'm his legal counsel, let's address the problem first. Dude, there's a 2,000-pound elephant. Listen, we got a problem. You mean you did nothing wrong, but we saw what you did.
And in order to accept the deal, they have to admit they did something wrong. Go.
If he admits to it, which he should admit to it, because, dude, you were in there, you did what you did. Here's my bigger question, honestly. God bless his wife, to the grave she went, right? Okay. Were you doing this when this woman was sick?
Well, we're not going to get involved in all that.
Okay. But I'm just saying, because that's a bigger question.
Maybe she was sick and couldn't.
Right. No. The reason why that's a bigger question, because that speaks to me more for your character.
Right.
Because as an owner of a team,
NFL franchise.
now check this out.
Yeah.
The NFL is going to protect their brand, right?
Yes.
They're going to protect that brand, which means I'm sure they've probably sat him down and said, listen, depending on how this goes, we need this to be as clean as possible.
Yes.
So whatever they give you, take it.
Well, see, this is my point, Ghost. He already said he did nothing wrong. In order to get the charges dropped, which is kind of a circular.
It all depends on what he wants to pay. Because the public eye, you're guilty regardless whether you fight it and get found. You're already marked.
Right.
You want to go through the trial? But then who knows what else they might pull out? Because they got, like I said, they got now the video's going to get put out in the court evidence. So then you're going to have that's going to be out into the public.
There you go.
And then do you want to go through all that? You got to pay lawyer fees. And then what actually are you fighting? Like, if you get found guilty of it, is it a misdemeanor, a slap on the wrist and a fine?
Well, if they have,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's facing 25 years in jail.
Right.
Like, if you're facing just like a $10,000 fine and a slap on the wrist, then you're gonna pay the $5,000 now and just walk away. Like, it depends. Like,
but you have to.
I don't understand what his wins or losses are here.
You have to admit that you would have been found guilty in order, which is ironic because you have to admit you would have been found guilty in order for them to drop the charges. Which is kind of
think about
counterintuitive.
Which is sort of like the little
You know what I'm
slap on
saying?
the wrist thing where if you get the program,
What am I guilty of if you're gonna drop the charges?
Right. Well, here's the thing. I did nothing. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
So what am I guilty of?
Right.
If you're saying you're sitting in the corner and say I did nothing.
Right.
But admit you're guilty.
Right.
We'll drop the charges.
Exactly. Can you see how it's kind of round? It's kind of ass backwards to me. It's like you want me to admit to something that you're going to drop charges on. So it's almost like for me, it's like okay, you want me to say I would have been found guilty?
I'm just trying to save time. I don't want to go the whole through.
Right.
But you're,
right.
You're a lawyer, so I defer to you definitely on this one. But usually, if the government is coming to you and say, "All right, well, you take this," and usually when they do that, that means there's something else a brewing.
Listen, if I'm his counsel, I tell him to.
That's why I say take it
deal.
and move on.
Take the deal. All right, folks, it's been a tremendous night here in the game, WBKS1.com. We will be back next week. Thank you to Eugene Napoleon, our special guest. We appreciate it. Let me give you a round of applause. Hold on, let me close that down. Thank you to the great Jamal Murphy who called in, giving us his insight on the NCAA tournament. And, Coach, you have a Final Four before the tournament starts?
No, I'm going over my brackets tonight.
Okay, you're going over the brackets tonight. I trust you, obviously. We have no reason to lie. We come up with the Final Four next week. My Final Four right now, which subject to change over the next couple of days, I have Duke, Michigan, and I have, after Murph, I got Tennessee and North Carolina. I got Duke, North Carolina, with Duke winning it all. 74-73, like the last game they played. All right, folks.
You ain't asked me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
No.
You have a Final Four?
Well, I got a Final three. I'm waiting on my fourth person.
What's the Final Three?
But I already picked Gonzaga to win it. So
wait. You got Gonzaga winning?
I put it on Facebook. Did you say
Who
it?
else you
I
got?
posted.
Who is it?
So in my
Okay.
I said call it down.
Did not expect that.
I got bets coming in.
Okay, who you got? Tell me the Final Four.
I also just on the whim I had, of course I had to roll over UNC, and just because they were the over one, I threw Duke in there. Although after that,
so you got Duke, Gonzaga, UNC, and who else?
And I just picked a dark horse like Tennessee or something like that.
Okay. And you got who you have in the final two?
Well, Gonzaga has to be in there,
right? Gonzaga against either Tennessee or North Carolina.
Yeah, and then in which case I would be so I picked Gonzaga, but I'd still be conflicted.
So you got Tennessee. You got Gonzaga over who?
It would be because Duke and North Carolina.
It would be Tennessee or North Carolina.
Yeah, it would have to be. See, I can't have North Carolina in there. I can't. So it has to be Tennessee. So Tennessee gonna have to get in there.
Gonzaga over Tennessee.
Yes.
All right, that's a unique bracket.
I can't have them going over my Tar Heels.
But you got Tennessee over the Tar Heels.
But I have to do that so I won't be conflicted in the finals. Then I can freely.
But if you think Gonzaga's the best team.
But I have the loyalty. I am loyal to UNC. I am. I've been rocking with them since.
Then why ain't you picking UNC to win this whole thing?
Because I just don't think it this time. But I've been rocking with them since '82. So I'd rather them go out a little bit earlier so I can cheer freely for Gonzaga.
All right, we'll see what happens, folks. And March Madness starting Thursday. Well, the playing games tonight, but the real tournament starts on Thursday, so check it out.
The NIT started today, too.
Check us out next Tuesday, 9 p.m. We'll be here, talk over the tournament, talk some more football, and we appreciate your time. Have a great week, and we'll see you.
Yes.
And as we always say, you cannot play the game unless you are in the game. Good night.
Good night.